in preparation for our second meeting in April the 15th, tax day as we all know it fondly. And so what we will do, we do have a presentation this morning. Kristen Campanella from the 911 Center is coming to give us a little update on a reminder and a refresher course on what all she does and does for us and with us. And so she's been kind enough to say that she would do that on our behalf to educate us this morning. So I'm going to turn the floor over to her first. And she has, I believe you have a PowerPoint up here. So please feel free, come join us up here at the table and educate us. Good morning. Thank you for everything you do.
How are y'all? Everybody is well?
All good.
So, y'all know my name is Kristen Campanella. I'm the Executive Director for the Emergency Operations Center. We house emergency management and 911 and also the floodplain for the county. So this is our mission and vision. I'm not going to read all that to you, but it's kind of what we do. So, primarily our job is to prepare for, to respond to, and provide assistance in any way that we can if we're faced with a disaster or an emergency. So we coordinate with all of our first responders, we coordinate with the road department, our utilities, anybody that could possibly respond to those emergencies or disasters. We manage the 911 Operations Center, so we are the only 911 center that is in our County. So if you call 911 in this county, you get us. The police department does have their dispatch, and MSU also has one, but if you call 911, you get us. And then we oversee the floodplain management, like I said, for the county. Y'all have fabulous code for the city that we work well with. These are all the call types that we possibly could respond to. Of course, anything can happen at any time. But this is some of the list of things that we go to. We always say it could never happen here. Thankfully, we've been lucky enough in the past few years that we haven't had a major disaster, but it's going to happen. It's all about when it is instead of what it is. So this is just kind of our stats for the year. So this is January till today. So as you can see, just the number of calls that we've taken, incident reports, and then we responded to over 30 incidents on the emergency management side. That's from weather to any of those lists of things that I showed you. I don't know if you know now that we have the capability to receive text. So somebody can text 911 now, you just put 911 in your tube and it gets to us. You can also share photos or video.
What happens, can I ask questions as we go along here? What happens if I text 911? Do I text 911 and put something else in, or I just text 911, hit it, and what happens?
You just put 911 in and it comes through our call taking system, okay. And you have a telecommunicator that's texting back and forth.
So it's a text series as opposed to y'all calling going, okay, you've texted 911, what do you want, and having a conversation?
We do have an auto reply that'll come back and ask you, because of course we want you to call us, right? But if you can't, if you're in a situation like we've had domestic situations where they can't call us all the time, they're hiding in the closet, well now they can text us and we can communicate with them just the same as we were on the phone. So and all counties do not have that. So if you are in a county that does and you do text 911, you'll get a bounce back that says this service is not available. But thankfully we have that here. And we have an option where you can send videos and photos also. So we've used that a lot lately, especially like fire scenes. How they call in sometimes is not exactly how it always is on scene. So we're able to capture that video and then share it with the field responders. And it's a live video that's happening by then. We have enhanced GIS location accuracy. So there's two systems that we use, Rapid SOS and Prepared Live. Are y'all familiar with what 3 words? So the entire world is mapped in 10 by 10 squares. And every 10 by 10 square is address, a 3-word address. So we have some that use it like on hunting area. So like for their post where they are, they can put a what 3 words address on there. You can pull up that app and type in those 3 words and it will take you directly to that stand. But that's how it comes in through those two systems. So of course this is like everything else, it's all about service. So if you have an older type phone, it may not be exactly accurate. We may still get off the tower location that you're hitting. But most of the time, it gets us within about 10 feet of where you are. They are updating the system where, so if you're in a hotel or like on campus, it'll show us the second floor, the third floor, the east side. I mean, so the technology has come a long way in my 25 years. I never thought we'd see it, and it's growing every day. So we're a better service now than I think we were even 5 years ago. I can't imagine where we're going to be 5 years from now. But we're here to help you, and that's really when the mayor asked me to come. All I wanted to reiterate with y'all is, that we're here to help y'all, anything that we have or that y'all need. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm going to show y'all this link. So Toby, y'all know Toby is our address specialist. Everything mapping, I go to him. So he created this map it's from 1950 to 2020. And it shows all the tornado patterns for the entire state. You can kind of see there's like a trend that goes through. We've all talked about this bubble that we have over at Teague County.
We're very fortunate.
Yes, we are. And I've talked to some meteorologists, and of course they say that's not exactly true, but I'm still believing that we do. But you can see the county, we don't really have a whole lot that we've had. But just this year alone, we've had 30 severe weather incidents so far. So I don't know if that trend is changing. I mean, I can send y'all this too, so if y'all want a copy of this. If the trend is changing, we have seen some areas this year that's been hit that we haven't seen in the past. And I've always kind of heard it kind of takes that same path every time. So I hope we're not shifting. So that's, Mississippi's had 92 reports of tornadoes so far this year. Like I said, just for our county, we've had 30 incidents. Go. Yep. So that shows our months and the severe weather events that we've had so far. Y'all know that we open up the safe room, of course, when there is a tornado watch that's been issued. We haven't opened that a little bit earlier lately because a lot of these storms happen overnight. So even if the path is not looking to get to us till like 2 or 3 in the morning, we'll go ahead and open it around 11 o'clock at night to give people time to get there.
How are you staffing that?
My staff does that.
Okay.
And it's just like everything else. I mean, everybody's short. So we have to pay overtime for some of my admin to go down there, but my 911 is short, so a lot of times they've been having to work. So if anybody wants to volunteer, I would love to take that. OSERS has helped us some, and then the Red Cross has provided some volunteers.
Okay, if you want to put that out in some way, we'll help you, because I know, several years ago when we had the really cold weather, we did an all-night thing, because I did a stint there as well, so. Is the understanding that it's available growing? Because at the time I did it, there was nobody there but me and, one other person, I think, so.
Well, and I think you have an event, so like, we had that tornado in December that hit out at Highlands, and since we've opened it since then, like the last one, I think we had like 200 people. That event that we had a couple weeks ago that really looked like it was going to hit us.
Okay.
We had over 200 people at that one.
Okay, so it is getting a better use.
And so it always takes one, and it'll go for a little while, then it'll slack off, and that's my worry, that people get complacent because it hasn't happened here yet.
No.
But we never know when it can. But and the overnight is always the scariest, and that's actually our hardest time to find volunteers. Everybody wants to come during the day, but we're not in a perfect world.
I bet I can find some volunteers.
No problem, I'll take them. So this is our little puzzle preparedness. So we all work together. If something was to happen, it takes all of us, and that's which is really my focus for today. Is that I want us all to continue to grow and work together, and whatever we can do to help y'all. That's my stuff. That's my story. I want to talk a little bit about sirens. Y'all know the grants are available for sirens. There is a new hazard mitigation grant out there now. So if you have some interest in adding some more. That grant becomes available after any disaster that's hit the Mississippi. So our threshold in the county is around 200,000 that we have to meet. The state threshold is about 5 million. So I mean, even though we may not always have it here, we submit everything that we could, any little damage that we get, because that may help us get to that threshold for the state level. So after that, 5% of whatever you spend on that disaster comes back in hazard mitigation funds. So there is some grant opportunities out there now, so if y'all have some interest in that. Future sirens, and Ms. Lisa's worked real hard on getting those done. Sirens, generators, there's other equipment, there could be a possibility of radios. We worked with the fire department the past few years to get some radios and some computers and some of those grants. But if you're needing a grant or you're wondering if something's covered, then just call me and we'll work through it and see what we can figure out.
Okay, all right. Any questions while we have Kristen with us?
I hope you have a very uneventful job.
I mean, too.
Truly,
I did
truly.
leave y'all some guidebooks, so everybody always wonders what the process was if we had a disaster. So this kind of walks through, it is working with the state, because it's always a hurry up and wait situation. But the quicker we get our information in, the quicker this process can go through.
Okay. Is there any way that we can help you? Is there anything that, from an operational standpoint or from a coordination standpoint, that we need to be doing differently or better?
You know, I'm gonna email you when I need something or holler at you when I do, but you know, we have forms that are automatically signed by the county board that give us that DR3, those requests of those assistants. And so I already have those signatures done, so when something happens, I just fill out the date and send them in. And we put it on behalf of the county, so that, of course, y'all are part of our
We
county.
are, aren't we?
Y'all are part of the
People
county.
forget that.
People do forget that. But, so that covers all of us on that. But if you ever want to do your separate solution or resolutions for that, we'll be happy to send this.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us and helping educate us. So, all right. With that, we move to our agenda, and we've got one set of minutes that are work session minutes. Mr. Huskisson, anything about those? We're good on those? Ms. Harden, anything about those? Okay, consent for those? Okay. And then I'm going to have an opportunity, we'll do some employee introductions, we'll talk about the Good Friday sanitation schedule, and then the voting locations and absentee voting, since we had issues. And let me say that we have, had concerns about people during the election timeline and afterwards that have come forward and said that they had trouble voting. They had got sent to a couple of different places, and so we're going to continue to try to push that information out there. And keep that from happening again. We do have one more election to go, which is the June election, and so we will try to be very cognizant of that. And anytime you talk to people, if you'd remember to mention it to them, just to keep them educated when you go to your church and have your pastor talk about it. All of that is hopefully helpful to remind people that they need to look at the voting locations. They need to call about it if they have any questions. So we'll just keep talking about it and see if we can't educate. Yes, ma'am.
I will note that the errors that were found on the map, that Governor Triangle has corrected those. They are working to finish that up today and approve those Monday. And then anybody who was in the wrong ward in the last election will be getting a new card. We will be mailing out approximately 1,000 cards.
1,000 or so cards for the people who are listed in the ward incorrectly in the ward.
Correct.
Okay, so those have been corrected, and they'll get cards. Okay, good deal. Well, I went back and checked my card, and I did get a card. Of course, this was back in '23, and so it's been a while, and people just sort of anticipate something, but those cards were mailed out, and so we'll get that corrected, and then hopefully we'll again talk about that as well. I have expectations that there will be cards coming in the mail to those who were in the wrong ward. So hopefully we'll move forward with that in a positive way. So. Public hearings, we're going to have lot mowings. The grass is growing, guys, and so Code is out there working on various and sundry lots, and there are lots of places for them to do that. So we will be taking up some located on Gillespie Street, and again, maybe people will get geared up once the rains kind of die down a little bit and the grass or the ground dries up enough to get mowers out there on them, but that'll be part of a public hearing with consideration of lot mowings under that expedited process. All right, so under mayor's business, I've chatted with all of our board members, and I'm pleased to say everybody was very excited about the fact that Interim Chief Davis is interested in being permanent Chief Davis, and so we have putting this on the agenda for us to move forward with it. So if anybody wants to put that on consent, that might be kind of fun.
Consent.
Consent? All right, let's do it. Everybody good? All right, let's consent that one. And then we have an update and discussion, and this is clearly not an action item of any kind, but it is an update and discussion as it relates to the entry and exit to Redbud Springs. And for those of you who have not been in there, it is a fascinating little entry there. The current part of the subdivision is almost built out. I think there are only 2 lots left. And so the entry is quite narrow, and so it has the same footprint for all of the traffic going through there, whether it's a sanitation truck or an ambulance or just residents in there. And so it is in somewhat of a less than good condition, and so we've been working and talking to Mr. Carson, who still owns that. The city has adopted all the rest of the streets in that subdivision, And so the entry and the exit is the only thing that remains. And so it needs to come up to city standards and then be overlaid. The subsurface has to come up to city standards and then be overlaid before we accept it. But that's what this is about, is to find out what his plans are, and he has said he will be there to give us that update. So that's what that's about. Under Community Development Department, we've got a final plat approval. Mr. Haviland, anything about this one that you'd like to share with us?
No, this is just a lot split of one of the properties of the Flex Field. It's at the southwest corner of Pollard Industrial.
Okay, and they're dividing it virtually in half, right? Okay, all right, and so this is going to be final plat. Any concerns about that? It's just a standard process?
No, we just have 2 conditions on there related to the sidewalk, just because it's kind of confusing, so it's just
Okay,
clear that.
all right. Any issues there? We'll put that on consent? Okay,
Consent.
all right. Thank you. Under engineering, we have consideration of a low bid from Econ Construction with, where's Mr. Williams is working that project, and so we came in significantly less than we had anticipated that it would, so I think it's very exciting. And if we want to put it on consent, it certainly can be, but if you want to wait because of the large number, we can do that too. So, you want to wait? Okay, all right.
Can I ask a quick question? Does this reflect the era in?
Yes.
It does, okay.
Yes.
This is the new total.
Yeah, well, no, this is
With
the
the
total
add-on,
that was
okay.
that was the same to begin with, but
Gotcha.
yes, it takes in consideration the error. All right, then declaration of a Bobcat steer as surplus and auctioning it on Gov Deals. So consent for that one, okay? And then the engineering department, professional services agreement with River Science. Y'all recall the River Science company as someone who helped us with the issues in Country Club Estates. And we have some other issues with water that are coming up that Mr. Burnett would be comfortable if her area of expertise and her level of expertise was available to him. So any issues with that one?
Consent.
Consent for that? Okay, thank you. Then we have our claims docket. And then March financials. Anything, Ms. Harden, you want to highlight about the March financials?
Almost all departments are at 50%.
Okay. Alderman Sistrunk, anything budgetary wise? Okay. Can we do consent for that one?
Consent.
Okay. And then acceptance of the fiscal year audit. That has finally come to us, and we need to accept that. We have sent it to the people who are in need of it so that we can proceed with the things that we need to do, but we do need to formally accept it. So can we do consent for that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Fire Department, Mr. McCurdy needs to go to the BOAM conference in, where is it now? Biloxi? Where is it? Gulfport, there it is. I knew it was on the coast. Okay, thank you. Consent for that one? All right, thank you. And then list of equipment provided surplus and sell and dispose of on Gov Deals. Consent for that one? All right. HR, Mr. Ashford, you are the man of the day. What have we got? How many? 12 items?
14.
14 items. They
Yeah.
grew since staff meeting. Okay, what of these do we need to know that are beyond our normal
They're all
replacements? They're everyone replacements?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Would we like to do a blanket consent for all of our HR? All right, I'm just going to put a big C at the
Consent.
top. All right, thank you. All right, IT, our cameras. Joel, you got the quotes?
5 more cameras, yes, ma'am.
Outstanding. All right, can we do consent for that one?
Consent.
All right, wonderful, thank you. And then parks, advertising, we need to get a good signage project, and I'm excited about getting our signs looking good for the parks. We got wonderful parks that are getting better and better every day, and so would love to advertise for that. So consent for that one? All right. Sanitation Department, what are it? Purchase lease option for the commercial front loader. Anything about that you wish to share, Mr. Smiley? Nope?
I will just share, this basically just give us the opportunity from the session that we had with the other group, it gives us the option to look into an actual leasing versus purchase.
Okay, all right. We good with that?
Consent.
All right, consent for that one, thank you. And then utilities, Mr. Kemp, we've got transferring a vehicle to sell on Gov Deals, consent for that one.
Consent.
And then we have approval of XXX. When are we going to find out about who that would be?
We received the proposals today.
Okay.
We'll be reviewing those today and have a recommendation to put
Okay. All right, well, we'll obviously leave that off consent and look forward to,
Track that one.
Okay.
The deadline.
for the CDBG.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. All right, well, we will look forward to filling in that blank on Tuesday, okay? And then consideration of accepting the sole source quote for annexer for more water modules.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, consent for that one. All right, thank you.
Are
And
these
then-
the antennas? These are
Yes,
the
those are
okay,
antennas.
got it.
Another batch of antennas.
Yes, I'm excited, believe it or
Yes.
not.
And then executive session, potential litigation, that's just an update for the board, so. All right, and that takes us to the end of our agenda, so. Any questions, any discussion, anybody wants to add to the party here?
Ms. Hart, how many did Toby find out of place on the election?
200 of which were at 209. Those are done.
But
I had a husband, a wife, and a child. The husband was in the right place, but the wife and the child was in a different place.
Yeah. But they voted affidavit?
The
Okay.
child and the wife
Yeah.
had to.
Okay, that's why we had so many affidavit votes this last time, which was an inordinate number based on our previous affidavit experience. So hopefully that
No
will,
one was denied the right to vote.
right, everybody was offered the affidavit ballot. All right, well, thank you, everyone. We will adjourn this meeting and look forward to Tuesday.